So it's breeding season, thankfully, about time. And I'm gonna do some quick health checks on some does and the bucks. So I figured I'd just show what I like to look for before I start breeding an animal. So this is Jane. She is a 8-month-old Creme d'Argent. So this will be her first breeding season. So what I'm gonna do is just nice little grooming. So she's molting. You don't have to do this, but I think it's nice. So I take a little brush like this, tool-sided, so it's got like the flea comb. This is really good for just getting out any of that dead hair. Put your hands all over them. Sometimes you see like little sores that you don't notice visually if you just look at the rabbit. And by putting your hands just all over their entire body, you can feel any crusties or any liquids that are there that shouldn't be there. And the same thing with the brush. By going through and brushing her with this flea comb, I'm getting out the dead hair, but I'm also just making sure that she doesn't have anything hidden in her coat that shouldn't be there. Sorry if you hear chicks in the background, I got some new chicks today. And the other thing we're gonna do is check her ears for ear mites. So she's good. You can see ear mites with any type of crusties in the rabbit's ears. If it's really bad, it can get all the way up to the top of the ear, but it's typically gonna be just like right inside the ear as like a little crusty, looks almost like earwax if the infestation isn't too bad. But one of the things that I like to do during these health checks is I just go ahead and treat everybody, because I have had issues with rats, and rats will definitely bring in mites. So I just preemptively treat everybody. This is just ivermectin, the pour-on for cattle, super cheap. One bottle will last you literally forever. And you just have to put a couple of drops in each ear. Some people like to try to do like the more natural remedies, like baby oil or natural oils. I just use ivermectin. If you see an infestation, I would definitely just go ahead and use ivermectin. If you want to use oil to just like help as a preventative, maybe that's okay. I don't have any experience with that. Then the other thing we're gonna do with her is just check her eyes as best as we can. Make sure that there's nothing going on. We don't see any crusties. We don't see any signs of like glaucoma or anything like that. She's shaking now because of the ivermectin. Which is normal. Yes, sweet girl. And then we also need to clip her nails. So I use just like little small animal nail trimmers. Now I see some people that flip the rabbit over and do their nails. Good on you if you can do that. I never seem to have success. My rabbits are pretty chill, so I've always just been able to do it this way and clip every single nail that way. You should be clipping your rabbit's nails on a pretty regular basis. I'm actually quite behind with these guys. In an ideal world, you'd probably be doing it about once a month. But stuff happens. We fall behind. Alright, so that's 2 feet done. The other 2. You can see Jane is a very, very good girl. And don't feel pressured to do all of your rabbits in one day. You can break it up. It's not a big deal. I know a lot of people are like completionists. They want to start a task and finish it, but it's okay to take your time. Do a few. Come out later. Do a few more. And the other thing we're going to do is flip the rabbit over. So easiest way, in my opinion, to flip a rabbit, you're going to take your hand just like this, grab the base of the ears, and then I take a little bit of, I guess I should do it with this hand. base of the ears, and then I grab a little bit of fur, like right on their neck, and that gives you something to kind of grab onto. Then you'll scoop and flip. I can't do it with that hand, I gotta do it with this hand. But I've got the ears, I've got just a little bit of fur, just enough to help keep my hand steady. I'm gonna reach over and I'm gonna scoop and flip. So you're really not putting that much pressure on like the head. You're not picking them up by their ears or that scruff. You're scooping them under from the butt to help flip them over. And then same thing once they're actually on their back, you're gonna keep your hands on their ears just to help keep them steady. And I don't think you can see it, but I take these fingers and make sure that they're on the other side of this head to try to keep their head straight so they're not like wiggling and trying to turn all over the place. Yes, you're such a good girl. So what we're gonna do here is, again, we're checking all of the feet, making sure that nothing crazy is going on with any of the feet. We don't see any sore hocks or anything like that. Also, don't like get your face in there, because that's a real quick way to get kicked in the face. So always make sure you get at least some sort of distance between you and the feet. Another thing, especially with does, is you want to make sure that you are looking at this dewlap, because sometimes, especially if they have a bigger dewlap and you feed with bowls like I do, they can get moisture between their chin and that dewlap, and that can lead to fungal infections. So I always check that, make sure we are good. She's good. And we want to check the teeth and the nose. You should not see any moisture or snot around their nose. So she's good, nice clean nose. To check their teeth, just run your hand over their face a couple times near their mouth, and then you can take your fingers and just pull back those gums and see your teeth, face to feet, apart. And then the last thing we want to do is just check her genitals, make sure everything looks good there, her vent isn't dirty, and that everything looks to be in good order. So she's good. The last thing that we're gonna do is just get a weight on her. I won't necessarily weigh every rabbit, but she just turned 8 months, so I will weigh her. One thing I recommend, I just use a baby scale. Use whatever scale you want. Have something that you know the weight of, because there's nothing worse than being on the show table with a rabbit that you weighed the day before, and then you get disqualified because your rabbit doesn't meet the minimum weight. And turns out your scale was wrong. So I was weighing my rabbits and entering them into shows, and my scale was off by like half a pound. And the poor judge was so nice, and he tested it on a couple different scales to make sure that it wasn't just that one scale that was messed up. It was mine, so I use a dumbbell now, a 5-pound dumbbell, and I put it on my scale to make sure that my scale is calibrated properly before I weigh the rabbits. And I've already done that. So turn this on. Weight on her. So she is 9.6 pounds. So happy with that. She meets minimum weight, and that is what is important. So I will put that in her charts that she is 9.6 pounds as a senior, and that'll be her weight moving forward. Even if she fluctuates, I like to go by whatever weight they were when they first hit senior weight, because sometimes they keep growing and they'll hit it later, but as far as your breeding records, you don't really care about that. You want, as soon as they hit senior, they should be hitting at least there's an airport going over there, an airplane going over there. So she's good. I'm going to just brush her a little bit, help her molt out some of this fur. Also a good thing to check if you show, or even if you're just using tattoos to help you keep track, is just take a look at the tattoo that's in their ear and make sure that it is still legible, and that you can read it without any problems. So she was a very good demo girly today. She's gonna get bred soon, and we'll finish brushing her and put her back with a little treat, and she'll be good to go. So thanks.